Hello everyone, and welcome to another Company Heroes 2 replay cast. My name is ATR, and today we're gonna have ourselves a 1v1 in Crossing in the Woods. Our heroes today are going to be CaptainSPrice, playing as the Soviet faction, the Soviet forces in the blue. And his opponent in the red is going to be none other than Luvnest, the loveliest of nests, playing as the OKW in the red. Now this should be a pretty awesome game. Maybe it's not, but it should be, considering that, well, at least at the time of casting this, Luvnest is ranked number 4 for his OKW play. And Mr. CaptainSPrice is number 6 for his Soviet play. So both top 10 players in their factions, very close, 4 and 6. Couldn't get any closer unless it was 4 and 4, you know. But anyways, yeah, should be one hell of a match in Crossing in the Woods. So, let's see what they've been doing. We saw that Mr. Sprice went right ahead and built his tier 2, and then followed it up with a conscript. Then after that we have a Maxim machine gun. So not going straight for the Maxim spam like you would see sometimes. Still getting a conscript to be able to have something on the field. But yeah, opening up straight into tier 2. Luvnest, for his part, is pushing forward with his free supply half-track. Going to be able to spot and scout and all that. Very nice for players to actually use that unit for something rather than just leave it sitting at base, you know, doing nothing. He does open up with 2 Volksgrens and then follows it up with a 3rd. So a lot of Volksgrens on the field for Mr. Luvnest. And they are being supported by that half-track that can really just go push stuff. Storm Pioneers pushing all the way forward into the front of Mr. Sprice's base. He is following his build order up with another conscript squad, so not really spamming. He just wanted to have a Maxim on the field, so good on him. I mean, we have seen Maxim spam in the past. Why are they not moving? Oh, there they go. Actually, I stood there on the road for a little while. A little bit of a lazy squad, but whatever. So Maxim and combat engineers over on the far left-hand side. We have the conscripts on the right. And the other conscript squad still there. So again, why we get those stutters, I don't know. Can't really fix it. It's not the video card, since I got a new video card. So it's probably everything else. So in comes the supply half-track, going to be pushing and crushing the cover for these conscripts. The Storm Pioneer is going to be able to just simply push forward unopposed as they run straight into the conscripts. However, they are not having an easy time of it, as the supply half-track actually ends up pushing them as well. The conscript managed to hold their ground at 4 men, and the Storm Pioneers are forced to retreat as the Maxim machine gun comes in to support. Supply half-track takes a little bit of damage in the process, but nobody really cares if that gets damaged. Volksgrenadiers setting themselves up in the heavy cover of those sandbags, meaning that they're going to be able to withstand the fire of the Maxim machine gun for quite a while. Maxim machine gun will just sit there and fire non-stop, while the Grens just, well, take it. They sit there, they take it, and they like it. We now have a Kubelwagen on the field. I'm not sure why I said it like that, but yeah, we have a Kubelwagen on the field for Mr. Luvnest. Gonna be trying to push away those combat engineers. Combat engineers once again setting themselves up in some heavy cover by the sandbags. However, they run away, although they are out of the arc of fire of the Kubelwagen. One of them decides to just simply crawl back in range, gets them suppressed. And they're probably going to get pinned down because this guy decided that he wanted to be a hero. Kubelwagen does move out of the way, though, because it's not a good idea to just leave it seating, you know, out in the open. It is a very, very soft target and falls to small arms fires very quickly. Conscripts trying to capture the center point. They are going to be able to decap it, but they do get themselves suppressed, even though they are in heavy cover, because heavy cover is directional. So even though they are in heavy cover, the Kubelwagen is shooting from the flank. Heavy cover here only provides this direction, you know? I would draw, but I'm not using the program anymore, so I can't draw. Oh well, I'll figure it out later. I'm trying out a new recording program, trying out Shadow Play, see how that actually works out. Gonna try and get some 1080 videos out. Unfortunately, though, it doesn't look like I can do a 1080-60 because Company Heroes is not very well optimized still, and we can't use 2 video cards, so I'm running up in the high 50s, but can't actually get the 60 there. Anyways, right-hand side, we see 3 conscript squads moving in together, getting themselves all up in the face of that Volksgrenadier squad. Volksgrenadiers are holed up in that house, so it will be a little bit before they take them out. However, well, they're getting shot at in all directions, which means the damage will be pouring in. Center map, Maxim machine gun stopping the Kubel wagon in its tracks as it pushed forward. Volksgrenadiers pushing forward to try to get on top of the machine gun. Managed to force a retreat on it, as the threat of a grenade, I suppose, was really the problem there, even though grenades are still not researched. But, well, Sprice, I suppose, wanted to be a little bit more careful. Because, well, if the grenade did come, it is very deadly. And it is now there. There you go. So it would have actually only taken a couple seconds before the grenade went off. So not a bad decision to retreat, you know? Yeah, you know. You see how it is. Down in the south, we have the combat engineers flaming the Volks and forcing them to retreat. I guess I'll read this later because I'm getting messages. Volksgrens in the center. Nice little cover there on that tank trap. Provides them some heavy cover. We'll stop the... Well, actually, they probably will still win, but the flamethrower is going to do a lot of damage in that heavy cover. Remember, the flamethrower does more damage the heavier your cover. Oh, but they actually ignite the flamethrower, Sippo, and forcing the retreat, so they themselves make it out alive with very low amounts of health, while the combat engineers lose their weapon. We do have the battle group headquarters on the field for Luvnest, which means he'll be able to heal up those members back to full strength while they reinforce, so that is a big win there for Luvnest, because otherwise he would have suffered. Oh, okay. Yeah, I was like, that seems to be out of control, but I don't know if it is. Oh, well. Didn't get to catch the moment of the kill, but we saw the explosion as conscripts over on the right-hand side go for an aggressive push up to the front of Luvnest's base. He does manage to get the kill on the Kubel wagon, but Luvnest selects his doctrine, and that is the Fortifications doctrine, calls himself an MG-34 onto the field, and with that will very easily win the fight over on the right-hand side. He doesn't even have to use it to that. They retreat, and there they go. Still have a conscript squad over on the far right-hand side, capturing territory, which is good. And on the far left-hand side, we have the Maxim machine gun trying to stop the Volksgrens from capping the fuel. The burst does go off, gets them suppressed, but not before they move out of range. The Maxim machine gun is going to sit there as it captures the victory point on the left-hand side. And the Volksgrens are back in full action. Combat engineers with flamethrowers going to push up. Now, these Volksgrens are not in cover, which means the flamethrower is going to be less effective. But it's still obviously a big threat. But yeah, I mean, flamethrowers work basically upside down. They do more damage the heavier your cover is, because they're used to dislodge enemies from cover and houses. And if you're actually in negative cover, the flamethrower works less effective. Although, I don't know. That used to be the case in Vico. Maybe it's not. But I think it still works like that. Where basically you wanted to get yourself out in the open in red cover against the, like right here in red cover against the flamethrower. Kind of makes sense in the water, right? You're in the water, the flamethrower isn't really going to do too much because you're in the water. So, yeah. So anyways, very aggressive infantry play from both sides. Aside from the Kubel wagon, nothing really much in the sense of vehicles. We do see that CaptainSPrice has gotten a preemptive AT gun, which again, like I like to think, the AT gun for the Soviet faction is not a bad decision at any point in the game, simply because it has the ability to use that artillery strike. That artillery strike is very good against infantry. Where is it? Wait, did they remove that? No, there it is, light artillery barrage. Yeah. Okay. I think I was looking for a different icon. I'm not too familiar where it would appear here. Anyways, so yeah, I mean, at the very least with the AT gun, if you don't see any vehicles, you can use the barrage to help you out, and it's pretty strong against infantry. I mean, it's not the best thing in the world, but you know, at least you can put it to use. Whereas, say, a PAC or the U.S. Forces AT gun, if no vehicles come into the game, well, they're kind of a wasted unit and wasted money. But anyways. No Molotovs research for the conscripts. We see AT guns have been researched, so I'm assuming that is probably what killed the Kubel wagon. But with no Molotovs, those Volksgrens are able to just sit there in that heavy cover, peppering away at the conscripts that are trying to capture the center point. This squad is down to 2 men. The other squad is still holding strong at 5. The AT gun could be utilized for that, but it's just sitting there covering against vehicles, which, you know, again, it's fine. It's what it's going to do, but obviously we can see from our side, from our point of view, that it wasn't necessary to get the AT gun. Right hand side, conscripts trying to go for the cab. We do have the MG34 locking down that sector of the map. Far left hand side, Volksgrens with Shreks just moving around again. Shreks being acquired even though no vehicles are in play. But it's, you know, it's things that you do at certain timings, and you know, you expect some type of vehicle play at this point. But so far, nothing. We shall see what ends up happening. I mean, obviously we have shock rifle frontline tactics for CaptainSPrice, which means he doesn't really have to go for any additional tech. He can just delay until he gets the required command points to be able to call in both the KB-8 and the IS-2, which, well, are just superb units that can easily win you a game when used properly. But whether he will use it or not, that is yet to be seen. We shall see. He's only at 4 command points, about to hit 5, which means it'll take a while. Big push over to the left-hand side by Mr. Sprice. He is pushing his AT gun forward, finally deciding to bring it into the engagement, I guess. No, just pushes it back, pushes it forward, making sure that no vehicles comes. We do see that the Schwerpanzer headquarters has been acquired. We have the vehicle on the field, the Panzer II finally, and we also see Obersoldaten getting produced for Luvnest. Maxim machine gun in the center, getting assaulted by the Storm Pios, forced to retreat. We see combat engineers on the right-hand side getting caught out of position there by that Panzer II, the, what was it called? The Lux? Yeah, I think that's how they told me to say it. Lux, he's going to be able to get the kill on the combat engineer. Down it goes, ignites the flamethrower in the process, and the AT gun gets a solid hit on that tank, but it's going to be able to make it out of there without too big of a deal, you know. He's going to be fine. Mines getting laid down all over the place for Luvnest, although he is probably going to cancel that one. These are the shoe mines. The shoe mines are the ones against infantry. You can see them somewhere around here. No, there. No. Ah, why? Why are you stopping? There's nothing for you to stop at. Fighting all over the place. We had a lot of conscripts pushing forward and into the center. AT gun set up to shoot. Does manage to keep that Lux at bay. However, the Lux is just continuously peppering the conscripts, not allowing them to have a good day. Conscripts forced to retreat. AT gun got to be forced to back off. And the Obersoldaten push forward, get themselves into some heavy cover, and they will be able to secure the center victory point. Left-hand side, the Lux moves itself around, getting a better angle on these conscripts, going to be able to pretty much have its way with them. Conscripts down to 1 man. That conscript squad is dead. It's going to get focused down, and there it goes. Nice pickup there for Luvnest. And the conscripts over on the left, they are in some not really heavier cover. There's some cover, but very intelligently. Barbed wire was laid down on this side of the cover for Luvnest, so it denies the heavy cover, and the conscripts take the punishment and are forced to retreat. So Luvnest playing very intelligently, his positioning, and able to push. Map control is pretty much even. I mean, we have about half and half, so nobody's really in control there. The victory points are pretty dead even. I mean, 466 and 438. It's pretty much a 30-point game, so you know, nobody is clearly in the lead in that right now. So it's a nice back and forth. We'll see how long that continues. And who breaks first? AT gun does manage to get a solid hit on that Lux. The Lux retreats all the way back, down to about 20% strength. So this is going to give CaptainSPrice a little bit of a breather and allow him to capture territory a little bit more. Shock troops, nice grenade, forcing the retreat of the Volksgrens. And they GTFO. Gonna be able to capture the munitions point up there. Left-hand side, combat engineers and Volksgrens engaging. These Volksgrens squad do have a Shrek, which means reduced anti-infantry capabilities, while the combat engineers have flamethrowers, which is increased anti-infantry capabilities. They win the engagement. They run themselves into some shock troops. Down to 1 man. Can they get the kill? Yes, they do, but the Shrek does not drop. Unfortunate there for CaptainSPrice. Had a nice opportunity there to snag a weapon, but RNG was not in his favor today. Obersoldaten pushing forward. They are going to make quick work of the shock troops. However, they are being supported by a Maxim machine gun. Maxim machine gun, however, not looking in the exact angle that it needed to. Turns itself around, going to be helping out. The shock troops are pushing forward. They are down to 3 men. They decide to retreat as they ran themselves into the line of sight of an MG-34. Maxim machine gun stopping the approaching infantry. The oversoldat then get themselves suppressed, but they do inflict sufficient damage on the Maxim machine gun to force the retreat. Lux pushing forward. The combat engineers unable to see it. We do still have that AT gun. The AT gun has taken some damage. Actually, no, it's only crew health. The weapon itself is quite fine. It hasn't actually taken any damage. Nice shot there on the Lux. Forces it to back off and not cross the river. Volksgrunds are coming in to assault the AT gun. There is nothing nearby to defend the AT gun. Everything else is retreating. Combat engineers are on each side with their flamethrowers, so they might be able to help. Flamethrower going off on the Grens. The Lux is getting some shots off, but just hitting the ground. It looks like it was a little bit more of a potential to hit a mine. He thought, well, maybe he put in a mine there. I'm just going to attack the ground since they were standing there and detonate the mine. But, well, to CoH's luck, he didn't actually think about putting a mine there, and the Lux didn't destroy anything. Right-hand side, conscripts trying to recapture some territory. The MG-34 is nowhere to be seen, so the right-hand side flank, or the right flank, is completely open to the infantry. Combat engineers, 3 at a time with flamethrowers. Whoa, he has 4 combat engineers with flamethrowers on the field. That is a very interesting decision there by CoH's. I mean, that is obviously a lot of anti-infantry firepower. This could work. The Volksgren over there barely makes it out of there alive. He actually caught fire, but ran so fast for his life that he actually outran the fire and put himself out. Because, you know, you just need oxygen, and oxygen is not going to let, fire burn. That's what they taught me. Anyways, MG-34 in the center covering the victory point. Victory point is currently for nobody. We have conscripts over here capturing the point. Combat engineers all over the place trying to burn whatever they see. Storm Pioneers just inflicting a lot of casualties there on the combat engineers, but, well, too many flamethrowers looking at them, and they decide that it's getting a little bit too hot for them, and they will move. Haha, get it? Anyways, Obersoldaten pushing forward. We have no MGs. Lux coming up, getting a lot of damage in there on the combat engineer. Combat engineer forced to retreat. We have another combat engineer on the left capturing the point. The point has been caught. The AT gun getting some shots off on something. It is... Nope, unable to hit the Lux. The Lux does back off, doesn't want to risk it. But it does end up getting 18-aided. Damage on the engine, but not enough to kill it. And apparently brave infantry made the ultimate sacrifice. Where? Iknen. I don't know. Over here, maybe? Anyways. Combat engineers. Flamethrower going off. These guys are in light cover, so that's actually going to work against them. Against the flamethrower. However, they are veteran C2. What did they get at veteran C2? Accuracy and weapon control. Man, that actually doesn't provide anything. Oh! A nasty shot there by the Shrek nails one of the combat engineers on the retreat. They do make it out as they had a healthy amount of units. And the Maxim machine gun pushes into the center, but is not in range of capturing. It sets itself up in the cover here, although it's still only getting light cover. To try and cap, inches a little bit forward, still unable. And the Lux says, you know what, I don't actually want you there, so how about you leave? You leave now. Oh, this is very bad, down to 2. Well, he makes it out, fortunately for Sprice. But he did manage to stall, delay, and hold, and we now have the IS-2 on the field. IS-2 taking a shot at the Lux. The Lux manages to accidentally dodge it. A nasty shot goes off on the Obersoldaten, killing one of its members and forcing the rest to retreat. We have nothing on the field. No, never mind. He actually has 2 Raketenwerfers. We have one right here. Where's the other one? The other one is right there. So 2 right there at the front. I can't believe I didn't see it. He was right next to it. So both of those will be able to provide a lot of damage on that IS-2. The IS-2 will be forced to back off. Can't actually take them on, head on and kill them, but that is if only they are unsupported. The Raketenwerfer is actually tough to kill considering they can retreat, so yeah. Volksgrun's in the center. IS-2 really not catching a break as far as hits go. There we go, gets a nice hit off on those Storm Piles down to one man. Another shot is going to fly. Can you get it? No. The Volkskrins are going to move up. Volkskrins are going to get shot. And down goes one. Center map, the Maxim machine gun trying to stop the approaching infantry, conscripts, and combat engineers pushing forward to try to cap the map. On the far right hand side, we have the AT gun and some combat engineers, shock rifles, not shock rifles, shock troops, capturing territory. So the victory points are now back in the favor of Mr. Sprice. 432 to 401. Like I said, it's a 30-point game basically, so nobody's in the lead right now. A nice back and forth, holding the middle of the map. Nobody, you know, giving an inch. I don't know. You know, you take spot in one places in one side, you lose them in the other, things like that. A nice back and forth. It's like a better description. Shock troops right on top of the Volkskrins. They end up blowing something. Maybe it was a mine. I don't know exactly what it was. But they do manage to force the retreat of the Volkskrins as they are able to kill them very quickly at close range with those PPSHs, the Papushkas. And then we have the Maxim machine gun in the center trying to hold against the Obersoldaten. The IS-2 still undamaged, has gotten 8 kills to its name, so that's nice. Can get a nice shot off there on the Obersoldaten if it pushes forward. Pushes into the center, not exactly sure why she's there. I think it's just whiffed the shot. Raketenwerfer is nearby to help, but it's right off range from the IS-2. The IS-2 needs to not push forward, otherwise it's going to get shot. Not going to be too much of a problem if it gets shot, but, you know, eventually it'll die. We do see Luvnest, however, producing himself a Panther. Panther will be coming on the field. The IS-2 does have a lot to feel from the Panther, especially from the front. Believe it or not, the Panther has a lot of frontal armor, so it can actually, you know, sit there and absorb a lot of damage, especially supported by 2 Raketenwerfers. Ooh, that IS-2 is in trouble. We shall see if CaptainSPrice is able to get something else. I mean, he already has 280 fuel. He just needs the manpower to be able to call in another IS-2. But yeah, we shall see. So Panther now on the field for Luvnest. He's going to push. And yeah, I mean, Sprice is not able to get any manpower. He is bleeding a lot of it, and he's going to bleed a lot of it, especially with the sheer amount of infantry he has. I mean, that's what, he's got 3, 4, 5 combat engineers with flamethrowers. And I mean, you're going to be losing units left and right. Panther getting some nice shots off in the Raketenwerfer as well on the IS-2, Shreks as well, so the IS-2 takes a lot of damage, down to almost half health, forced to back off and concede some territory. Conscripts do push forward. They're going to be able to... Sorry. I was going to say they were going to be able to decap the point, but it was already decapped. They were trying to capture it, but... Oh, well, look at that. You know, the benefits of having 5 combat engineers, well, is that you can use them all at the same time to repair your IS-2 and get it back in working order instantly. There it goes, back to full strength. Now is able to push. You know, it almost seems like he thought about that when he built them. Who'd have known, huh? Who'd have thunk it? Wow. So IS-2 back to full strength. The only thing is that, well, yeah, he repairs it fast, but he's not utilizing that ability to repair fast to push. IS-2 gonna be tanking some nasty shots here by the Raketenwerfer and the Panther. Not able to get too much damage down on the Panther. The Panther's still at about 95% strength. The combat engineers are going to perform some instant repairs. The IS-2 is going to try and hold there. There's a very risky maneuvers as the combat engineers are going to be taking additional damage as they repair. You can see the damage starting to pile in, and they are forced to retreat. The IS-2, strong as it may be, getting repaired by 5 engineers at a time is no god, and he's going to be forced to retreat. And there he goes. He does get brought down to, what is that, like 10% strength almost? And yeah, he needs to get repairs. Does back it off to the repair point. Everybody goes into repair. Even the Maxim machine gun gets brought into the mix. I mean, he's like, I don't know what to do. He's like, you just shoot at it. It's gonna fix it. It's gonna make it better. There he goes, Maxim machine gun. Decides, you know what? This is probably not for me. I didn't get trained with this, so I'm gonna go off and do something else. Unfortunately, though, for CaptainSPrice, he has lost the initiative, and we now see that Luvnest is pushing forward all the way into his territory, deciding to incendiary barrage into the, well, Sprice barraging into where the tank was. Not going to do too much, and there's still infantry all across his territory, but he has lost the center of the map. The right-hand side victory point will be lost, and he will be on the wrong side of a 3-point, you know, 3 victory points capped. Triple capped. Combat engineers pushing forward with their flamethrowers. They're going to try and get the kills on the Rakuten Werfer. Rakuten Werfer hitting retreat down to 2 men. Can he actually make it out alive? He is retreating under cloak. Is that even legal? Well, he is spotted now. Now he's in cloak. There he's not. So, yeah, I mean, they get cloak while in cover, it looks like, but I don't think that should, you know, trigger when retreating, but I won't. So the AT gun did get lost at some point, and it is now in the hands of Luvnest. So that is probably why it's not going his way. Obviously could build another one, but nice incendiary barrage right on top of the AT gun. We'll be clearing out that AT gun and forcing everybody else to back off. A cruise shot goes off on the Panther. However, with Shreks on its sides, the Panther in the front. And oh, it gets abandoned. No, that is, oh, that sucks for CaptainSPrice. He got a nice hit, kills it, but it gets abandoned, meaning it's still there on the field, still being able to be recovered. And I can probably see, yeah, there goes a Volkswagen squad V-lining for the Panther. Can the IS-2 get in range? He has a second IS-2. He needs to bring it up in range and shoot it. Shoot it before it gets capped. Go. It got capped. It's trying to move out of the way. Shoot it. There it goes. Well, at least he got the pickup. Whew. That was almost disastrous for CaptainSPrice. Would have been out of the game if he had not been able to kill that. Lux now in a very bad spot. It is unsupported. Getting chased down by the IS-2. The Rakuten Werfers are in a very bad spot. They're actually on the wrong side of that. Out of control it goes, and the IS-2 is, well, now she's going to back off. So Sprice picking up a very nice win there. Well, win in that engagement, I suppose. Managing to kill both the Panther and the Lux for Luvnest. Luvnest no longer has any vehicle play, and Sprice is sitting pretty with 2 IS-2s on the field. Zarak and the Werfers will be able to keep him at bay as far as, you know, just coming into the base and killing everything. But, well, with both of them on the field, CaptainSPrice should be able to just simply gain control of all the territories. An MG-34 getting eliminated over on the far left-hand side. We see the IS-2 starting to just simply attack the weapon. Yeah, he's attacking the weapon, so he will be able to kill it. Big push into the center. We see the AT gun getting shot at by the IS-2 as well. He's going to try and kill it. There it goes. Wants to make sure that the least amount of anti-tank capabilities are available to his enemy. And, well, having killed the enemy tanks, he can actually just rely on his IS-2s to deal with any enemy armor. So, yeah, he's in a very good spot. Combat engineers pushing forward with their flamethrowers, getting a lot of damage there on the Volks. More damage on the Volks, and we now see a Pack 43 getting built for Mr. Luvnest. This is probably the last-ditch effort for him, as he is... Oh no, he is unable to complete it. Did he cancel it? Yeah, it looks like he canceled it. He has a lot of resources again. So that kind of worked. I mean, he could have set it up behind here. I mean, it is able to shoot through everything, so not sure why he put it there. Maybe the range. The Shredder Panzer headquarters managing to stop the approaching combat engineers, forcing the retreat, but the IS-2 is just going to sit there. It actually eliminates one of the Rakuten Werfers. Volkskrans pushing up with their Shreks. A little bit too greedy here. Might not be the best thing for CaptainSPrice. Takes a little bit of damage though and realizes what he's done, so he's going to back off and not be too greedy. He does still want to kill that... Ooh, nice hit there. He actually eliminates the crew members that got in, so not too chat. Oh! Oh, the Oversoldaten get eliminated in one hit. The Rakuten Werfer and the Shreks, I suppose, are getting a decent amount of damage in there on that IS-2, but it's still at about 60-70% strength. The Volkskrans are not going to risk it. We see a Jagdpanzer on the field. The Jagdpanzer is very good against tanks. However, it is going up against 2 IS-2s and moving up a little bit too forward. Gets itself shot in the face. Rakuten Werfer goes down. Shots continue to fly. The IS-2s are not able to hit it. Still sitting at about 90% strength. They are focusing on the Rakuten Werfer. Well, one of them is. The other one is trading blows with the Jagdpanther. But Luvnest decides that, you know what, I know that I can't win this, I'm losing my Rakuten Warfers, and my tank is not going to be able to solo those two. As soon as they're dead, you know, you can get on top. So surrenders, throws in the towel, and that is game. Jeez. Well, I hope you enjoyed the game. If you have any positive or negative remarks, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. If you have any replays you want to send me, go ahead and send them to the email that I will put in the description. But otherwise, I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.